Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel, and here's some things that you need to know before you buy a PS5. So, first of all, just to let you know, if you have not been lucky enough to get a pre-order in, one of the things that Sony has done this week is apologize on that whole pre-order mess, and what they've said is that they are going to be allocating some more stock, so do keep an eye out on the social medias for PlayStation and also their retail partners such as Amazon and so on, and they will be updating their stock later on this week, I believe, from what they have said, so keep an eye out on them. And then hopefully you will be able to get in on this quick enough if you have not already secured a pre-order, and if you are definitely looking to get one for launch, hopefully you get an order. If you already have an order, just to be aware that Amazon, for example, are telling people, if you have an order with Amazon or maybe another retail partner, this might also apply for them, that you might not get it for launch because of how strict and like how restricted the allocations have been. You might have to wait a little bit, so you might not get it on the day of launch, but hey, you might get it within the launch week, and hopefully if that is the case for you guys, you are still lucky enough to get it sooner rather than later. And here's another thing that we need to talk about. The price of next gen games when it comes to the launch of the new consoles is going up, particularly on PlayStation 5, because that's what we're discussing right now. The games are going up by approximately 10 euros, dollars, pounds, whichever currency that you do have as well, there'll be an equivalent increase. And so here's a little tip to save you money. A lot of these games are coming out on PlayStation 4 and they're coming out on PlayStation 5, and one thing that the studios have done on certain games is offer what they call a upgrade path or upgrade option, something along those lines. And all it means is that if you buy a PlayStation 4 version of a game, you will get a PlayStation 5 version for free. So I'm just going to give you a quick example of Ubisoft games. So Ubisoft has a Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Watch Dogs Legion game that will be launching on the next gen, and what you can do is buy the PlayStation 4 disc, which will be at a cheaper RRP if you do buy at full price, but you can also get plenty of sale prices on these games before they come out. So for example, if you are lucky enough to get it for $10-15 under the PlayStation 4 RRP, for example, all you need to do is insert the PlayStation 4 disc into your PS5 and it will download a digital edition of that game for the PS5, and you just need to keep your disc inserted into the PlayStation 4 to make sure it authenticates that you actually do own the game. And that will be also the case for Sony PlayStation 5 titles such as Miles Morales. So if you don't want to be paying $70, euros, pounds, etc., you just get the PlayStation 4 version of the game, and that will then just mean you keep the PS4 disc in the PlayStation and it will download the PS5 digital edition for those games with an upgrade option. Sony hasn't fully said whether you will need to redeem a code on some of these games or whether it will just be like Ubisoft where you simply insert the disc, and if it is a case of just having the disc in the console, then buy the PlayStation 4 version and play the PS5 version for free. How good is that? Now continuing onwards, there is a little bit of bad news for some of you who maybe like your sports games from EA. Boo to EA, by the way, for this, because they are just trying to really make it as difficult as possible. But they will also have upgrade options. They might not just be as simple. You might need to download a code or redeem it on their websites. It's just a complete nightmare doing it with that. But I guess that's the price you pay for playing the same version of FIFA for the last 5 years. Shots fired, I guess. But going on to some of the news about PlayStation 4 games. If you've got a library of PlayStation 4 games that you really did want to play on your PS5 because you wanted, for example, the PlayStation 4 Pro equivalent, which is like 4K, etc., what you can do is this coming holiday season, or around Black Friday, Christmas, etc., you can buy an external hard drive. It has been confirmed that you can put all your PlayStation 4 games onto the external hard drive and you can play them without any problems whatsoever. Unfortunately, you can't do this with your PlayStation 5 games. They will not work off an external hard drive. Unfortunately, that is not fast enough to match the speeds that the internal hard drive has. But talking of the internal hard drive, if you do want to play a PlayStation 5 game and then, take a break and think, okay, I'll come back to it later, but then, you don't have space for any other games, so one of the things that Sony is allowing you to do, which can be quicker than downloading that 100 gig game or, the huge size that you may have on your regular internet, is moving the PlayStation 5 game from the internal hard drive to your external hard drive, and that will be able to save you a lot of time and headache of having to download it, reinstall, etc. And then you can swap them between, but you can't play the PS5 game from the external. You'll have to move it back and forth the entire time that you do it. So just keep that in mind. It is very useful. And if you guys did want to upgrade your internal hard drive, Sony has said that they will let you do this through third-party upgrade options, unlike the Series X, which has you buying theirs. But they have said that please do wait on that, because the internal hard drive storage that you upgrade to needs to be fast enough or faster than the PlayStation 5's internal storage that is locked, essentially, or it won't be compatible and it won't work. So do hold off on that. And I would say, if you are going to be playing any PlayStation 5 games, that you say, okay, well, I finished this game, then you can just delete it, or you can move it to the external, as I said, and that's going to be a great options for you guys that are a bit, well, kind of like, I'll come back to this game later down the road. One of the other things that they're doing is including a HDMI 2.0 cable in the box. So for those of you with 4K 60 TVs, that's 60 Hertz, by the way, for 60 FPS gaming, you will need to buy another cable for HDMI 2.1 if you have a HDMI 2.1 TV. Now that's something that you can pick up cheaply if you go on to Amazon, for example, and look for a HDMI 2.1 cable from a reliable retailer that's like known for doing quality cheap cables. You don't need to pay $7,000 for a HDMI 2.1 cable. And one of the other things as well that will be enabled once you do have that HDMI 2.1 cable is 120 Hz gaming. So I'm thinking there will be some games at launch like the Series X is going to be doing, such as Ori and the Blind Forest, but obviously that's an Xbox exclusive. Sony will have their own kind of maybe indie titles up to 120 frames per second. I do believe Dirt 5 is confirmed as 120 frames per second, although I believe that's at 1080p. You still may need that HDMI 2.1 cable to play at 120 frames per second. So just to sum up for you guys then, make sure you keep an eye on the social media channels from PlayStation and their retail partners to try and get a pre-order for launch or near launch. And if you are going to be looking to play a lot of your PS4 games on the PlayStation 5, the best thing to do is buy an external hard drive. I would say for the best bang for your buck, a 4TB is about the sweet spot of where you can kind of get the value, the performance and everything for a reasonable price, especially in the holiday season where it will be on sale, as the internal space of 825GB is quite limited, and in real life it's probably going to be a little bit less than that you can use because of the operating system of the PlayStation 5. And I would say, if you do have an external hard drive and there's a PlayStation 5 game maybe that you're not playing for a while, but you don't want to go through the headache of maybe re-downloading it because of patches are big or etc., you can just move it onto the external hard drive and then use that internal space that's been freed up for another PlayStation 5 title. And when you are in fact ready to play that game again, just move it back from the external hard drive to the internal and wait on Sony to give you an official list of the internal hard drives that are available for upgrading to that work with the console, or sometimes there's other third-party sites. So that's everything from myself today. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video on this, and if you have, please make sure to hit like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications, and I will be bringing you some future PS5 news and content in terms of what's happening with upgrade options, so on. So thank you very much for checking this out. See you soon.